And good morning and welcome to another edition of Travel Leaders Tri-Cities on News Talk 870 with your host, John McKay, the star of the show, Sandra. It seems like just yesterday it was warmer. And we are ready to kick off 2015 with our boarding pass.
Oh, and first of all, welcome everybody and Happy New Year. And if I sound like I'm in a tunnel, I think I am in a tunnel. That's that stuff going around town, you know, that cold epidemic got me. So I'm sorry to be very nasally to everybody, but it is me. So it's a good thing.
Yes.
So what we're going to do today is January is always a really big deal in the cruise world, and it's called wave season. And it's when the cruise lines come out with fantastic offers to entice you to get on board a ship and sail away and get rid of your cold and lay in the sun and do something wonderful. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to you about one of my favorite cruise lines, and we have the sales rep on board with us today. His title is actually Business Development Manager, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to develop some business. But he's going to be our guest today on Sail Away Saturday, the first one of 2015.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! So, without any to-do, with a big to-do, let me introduce you to Chaz Dunwoody from Norwegian Cruise Line, our Business Development Manager. And we're going to do a lot of information in a short time today because we're going to talk about what's new with Norwegian Cruise Line, what new ships they've got coming out, why would you want to take a Norwegian cruise. We're going to do all that stuff. So, Chaz, we're going to jump in.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure, of course. So, first thing we're going to do is talk about your approach to cruising, which in my opinion is unique in the industry. You guys were kind of pioneers. Tell us what you've done.
Absolutely. So Norwegian Cruise Line was the first major mass market cruise line to introduce what is called freestyle cruising. And what freestyle cruising is a more relaxed attitude and approach to cruising. So you can do what you want, when you want, how you'd like to do it. With our multiple dining options, multiple activities on board, we wanted to give passengers the flexibility to do things at their leisure, how they'd like to do it. If they don't want to wear slacks and things, so on and so forth, you're not required to do so. And that's basically what freestyle cruising is in a nutshell.
Everybody who's gone really enjoys the fact that there's so many more options with freestyle cruising. Because on one of your ships particularly, how many dining options is normal?
Absolutely. So on our newer ships on Norwegian Getaway, there's actually going to be 27 dining options on board.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely freestyle cruising at its best. And
absolutely.
And the other thing is, you know, some people still enjoy going on board and doing the dressy up thing. People also are getting more into casual. Not saying that they're not looking great, because they're always going to look great on a cruise, but they're looking for more casual options than the old tuxedo and the sequins.
That would be me.
That would be you, John. I know that would be you. And so everybody can do whatever they want. That's the whole thing. You
absolutely.
Go, yeah.
And with that too, if for the more classic cruiser as well, who does like their dress up nights and formal nights and so on and so forth, the first sea day of every cruise we have is called Norwegian's Night Out, where people do dress up in suits and so on and so forth. I actually bring a suit every time I go and cruise as well and participate in this, where you can take your formal portraits and things like that. So we do have those options, like you mentioned, Sandra, as well.
Yeah, I think it's fun, and you get to do whatever you want. That's the whole idea behind Norwegian Cruise Line. It's freestyle, it's your time, it's whatever you wish it to be. Well, we started talking about the dining thing, so let's talk about what is included on a normal Norwegian cruise and what is the specialty dining, because it's kind of a wow. You get to take your ship with you. It's your hotel. And in the evenings and during the daytime, the choices are unlimited. So let's say I'm going on a Norwegian cruise and I board, and there are a lot of people that want to take advantage of what's complimentary to them. So what kind of complimentary things are offered on Norwegian Cruise Line?
So you're going to have a multitude of options in terms of complimentary dining on board all of our ships. Mainly going to be the main dining rooms on board. They're going to be either 1, 2, or 3, depending on the class of ship that you're on, where very, very high-quality food, white tablecloths, great service all the way. With that in mind, you also can have an option to eat there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also, you're going to have the Garden Cafe, which is kind of our buffet-style service area where you're going to have anywhere from sandwiches, Pan-Asian food being prepared right in front of you, pizza as well, so on and so forth. That way, you're also in 24-hour room service, and then also they're going to have specialty kind of barbecues and so on and so forth out on deck, usually about every single day of the sailing as well.
Yeah, fun. And, you know, specialty dining, I think that some of the fun part about this is the variety of what you offer. And I was listening, and it said the words that should be taken out of people's vocabularies for 2015 was the word foodie, but I'm going to use it anyway. So if you're a foodie, there's some unbelievable choices that you have, and they carry small fees, but none of them very huge. The biggest one, $40, the smallest one, $15. So I'm a foodie. I go on board, and I find out that you have Ocean Blue. Can you tell me anything about that?
Yes, absolutely. So Ocean Blue is actually one of our corporate partnerships. We paired up with Iron Chef Jeffrey Zakarian to put a seafood-first white tablecloth experience on board our new ships, Norwegian Getaway and also Norwegian Escape will have it as well. So it's definitely a very, very special occasion to take advantage of a world-renowned chef with world-renowned cuisine on a brand new ship as well.
So fun. Really? Yeah, I mean, when would you ever get to dine in a Jeffrey Zakarian restaurant? But you can do it on Norwegian Cruise Line.
Absolutely.
Fun. Okay, so for other foodie options, I love to watch this guy on TV. He has a shop on board. And you now have a Carlo's Bake Shop.
Definitely, and with that, too, Carlo's definitely lives up to billing. I'm actually from New Jersey myself, so when I went on board, I was like, I've got to try one of these cannolis, and definitely lives up to the Hoboken name, from where the shop is originally from as well.
That's great. And you mentioned the raw bar. For people like my significant other, he would died and gone to heaven to get to a Brazilian steakhouse. Just bring on the protein.
Oh, yeah.
Feed him protein, and especially if it's on a skewer, that's even better. And you've got teppanyaki, similar to what we have here in town, Fujiyama's. They just got a free plug. And we have French and Italian. The one that I thought was really interesting is the chef's table. How does that work?
So the chef's table is a very intimate setting where you're going to get a 9-course dinner served to you in a very kind of small atmosphere on board. It's really great for special occasions for any of you honeymooners or out there, or anybody looking for something above and beyond that you really would only experience on a world-class vacation. So chef's table is definitely something to look at with those things in mind. 9 courses paired with wine, right? Yes, exactly. God, that is like died and gone to heaven for me. I'll tell you. Oh, yeah. But it's not for everybody, and it's a small venue, right? It is. It's a very intimate setting, right? Set aside in the dining room as well. Right. Okay, we're going to move on and talk about the other thing that Norwegian Cruise Line is very known for, and that's your entertainment. And I was on board the inaugural of the Epic, and that ship is probably 6 or 7 years old now. I would think. You're going to be. She just turned 5. Oh, 5. Okay, so not as bad as I thought. But I was very impressed with some of the things that you had on board that were unique to Norwegian Cruise Line. I got to go have dinner and watch a circus. That was fun. Oh, yeah. That was really fun. Are some of these rolled out to some of your other ships, or are they specifically to the new ones? So we're trying to streamline the new build experience to all of our classic ships as well. I was actually just on the Norwegian Jewel, which was built in about 2006 for a week in the Western Caribbean out of Houston, which is a great product for the West Coast market as well. Sure, that is. And the entertainment on board that ship definitely lived up to the billing of the Getaway and things like that. They have Cirque du Jour and then also another Cirque du Soleil show on board there as well, and then had multiple comedians on board that parallel the Levity Comedy Club and Second City Comedy Club. You're going to get on the new builds as well, and really just something going on for every age group on board every single one of our ships each night when you're on board as well.
I thought it was amazing. And now I have attended your White Hot Party. Do you do that on every sailing?
Yes, we do. The White Hot Party really is inspired kind of by our Miami headquarters, just because we have a ton of influence from the city of Miami, where you're going to have kind of your kind of Art Deco nightclub feel with everyone wearing white, especially the crew members. So everyone is very encouraged to bring all white clothing. I actually had to go buy a white pair of jeans, which I never thought I would ever do in my life. But you definitely don't stick out at all. Everybody really participates in these, and it's really a great opportunity to have as much fun as possible.
It's so fun. Okay, the other thing that I love is the Broadway shows that you guys have. You put on a full-out Broadway show on board.
Yes, we do, especially on the Norwegian Epic, Breakaway, and Getaway. Each has their own branded show. So Epic has the Blue Man Group. Norwegian Breakaway, which is based out of New York City, has Rock of Ages, and then Norwegian Getaway, which is based out of Miami, has Legally Blonde on board. And we actually bring the directors directly from Broadway to train our actors on board and the directors on board when the ship initially gets inaugurated. So these shows are paralleled exactly from what you would get on Broadway on board our ships as well.
I know. I got to go to the Blue Man Group show, and it was amazing. Way over the top. You do stand-up comedy, you do jazz groups, you have a pub. It's really hard to not think about all the things that are available to you once you get on board.
Exactly, and that's one great thing with Norwegian Cruise Line is basically there's going to be something for everybody to do on board. So anyone from your single solo traveler to your super high-end VIP all-the-way traveler, we're going to have a stateroom accommodation or an entertainment package that would be great for everybody.
I agree. So what I wanted to mention before we go on break is that you do have some new builds, and we'll talk about where they're going and what's unique to them when we come back. And we'll also talk about why multi-generational cruising on Norwegian Cruise Line, because you have something for every age group, and we'll talk about that too.
And we will be right back on News Talk 870 KFLD. We're back on Travel Leaders Tri-Cities on News Talk 870 KFLD. John McKay, your host, with Sandra and Chaz, and I'm sitting back in my deck chair enjoying more of a Norwegian cruise.
No kidding, because if you look outside today, it's a little gray.
Yikes.
A little dingy and a little gloomy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
A lot of fog.
What could we do to make this a better day than talk about Norwegian Cruise Line?
Exactly.
I'm thinking. Okay, so before we left, we talked about the fact that there were many entertaining venues, many dining options, and many things about Norwegian Cruise Line that you guys have developed that nobody else has. You have on board, obviously, great kids programs and spa choices and all the rest of that. But you have an amazing sports complex with a ropes course, and that was new to me.
Sure. So with our newer builds with the Getaway, Breakaway, and Escape, we've developed the largest kind of ropes kids area at sea, which kind of is a really fun opportunity, not only for children, but also for adults as well. So you get strapped into a carabiner and walk over these kind of small rope areas, which basically go from one side of the ship to the other. And also with that, there's 2 zip lines involved. There's bungee trampoline. There's a mini golf course. There's also a thing called the plank, which is actually 16 stories up and 8 feet out above the edge of the ship. So you actually walk out to the edge of this completely kind of with nothing else below you, and you pull a rope at the end of it, which takes your picture. And it's a really great opportunity, even for everybody as well. When I was up there, I was kind of a little bit timid, and all the kids behind me were like, "Come on, you can get out there and do it." So it's definitely very, very fun up there as well.
I don't know if I like the term "the plank," but but otherwise, it sounds cool.
That gives walking a plank a whole new meaning.
It does.
Yeah, exactly.
It does. The other thing I thought was great is that as part of your kids' programs for the tweenies and the teenies, you have a circus school.
Absolutely. We've actually partnered with Cirque du Jour Circus School in New York City and have themed events for each one of the kids club that participate. So the 3 to 5-year-olds do something different, 6 to 9-year-olds do something different. So if you bring your kid on board and somehow they become an acrobat by the end of the sailing, it's not our fault. It's the circus school's fault.
That is so cool. And you've got a partnership going with Nickelodeon.
Definitely, yeah. We have events throughout the sailing on all of our cruise line, all of our ships that hot couple hanging out with Dora the Explorer, SpongeBob, and things like that. And it's really great having the partnership with Nickelodeon, which is one of the most recognizable brands in the world. Actually, SpongeBob is more recognizable for the ages of 2 to 11 at this point than Mickey Mouse is. So we have actually the most recognizable kids program brand in the cruise industry at this point.
Okay, so I'm going to be taking my family. I'm going to go on board, and I'm going to book them, but I'm going to book me in a thing called the Haven. Shall we talk about what that is?
Yes, absolutely. The Haven Complex really is our VIP all-inclusive suite enclave area. So full VIP all the way. This is kind of a game changer that we have came out with. It's really a ship within a ship concept. So with that in mind, if you have a platinum key card access only to this area, only for Haven guests, which is completely butler service. You have 2 private pool areas for yourself to enjoy in your private suite enclave area, your own private restaurant, and all of the dining options that we offer on board, especially even the specialty restaurants. Each one of those, if you'd like to dine in your own Haven suite, we can set that up on board as well. You also get a pre-concierge for the entirety of your pre-boarding process, and really anything that you request, we can take care of in this area.
The other thing you've done, and I don't want to have us use up all our time before I talk about what you have offered for Wave Offer, because that's really important. We don't want that to go away. But the other thing I really enjoyed is the fact that, when you travel like a solo, you're a single, normally, if you're by yourself in a cabin on a ship, you're paying 200%. You're paying for the other person that's not with you. So what you did that I think is so unique is that you developed studio cabins.
Definitely. So the studio staterooms are located in what's called the studio lounge area as well. So similar to the Haven, you get a private access key card that gets you into the studio lounge area. Each one of the rooms are kind of off of each of these areas. So with that in mind, you get your 100-square-foot stateroom. It's very, very kind of maneuverable for a single traveler. Also, you get the immediate social interaction with other solo travelers on board in the studio lounge as well. So with that, the Haven and the studio staterooms are actually our 2 most popular staterooms categories fleet-wide as well.
I know that those sell out. So here's a great experience. You can go all alone on the ship in a studio, and then you have access to this wonderful lounge where you get to mix and mingle with all the other single travelers. So you have a built-in group to meet anyway.
Absolutely.
I think that's very cool. Let's talk about, before we go away, and we'll talk about your new ships and where they're going, let's talk about the Wave Offer. I want to make sure we don't run out of time. So, if people book a Norwegian cruise cabin during the month of January, and this ends at the end of January, so if you're listening to me, you need to get into Travel Leaders and get this booked during January, because it is a very rich offer. So let's talk about what it is.
Definitely. So what we're offering in the month of January is actually called Freestyle Choice. With that in mind, it's an offer of up to 3 of these choices that are included. So either you can choose from the Ultimate Dining Package, which includes 7 specialty restaurant reservations before you get on board, the Ultimate Beverage Package, which includes all beer, wine, and soft drinks up until your Grey Goose martinis and things like that. So it's definitely very high-end, and also an onboard credit per person of $300. So it's upwards of a $2,000 bonus that for just booking in the month of January as well on Norwegian Cruise Line.
I know, and it's so great because that's all things that you would have wanted to do when you got on board anyway, and you booked it in January, so now you're getting it and you don't have to pay for it. So that
Absolutely.
Is awesome. And all of those fantastic super dining options that we talked about, they're going to have access to that too. You've built some new ships. They came out in 2013, 2014, and you have another one coming.
Correct. So in 2013, we came out with the Norwegian Breakaway, which is based year-round out of New York City, which does Caribbean sailings in the winter months and also Bermuda sailings in the summer months, and also won Best New Ship in 2013 from multiple cruise award companies as well. Then in 2014, its sister ship, Norwegian Getaway, was built and released and is based year-round in Miami, which is doing Eastern Caribbean sailings year-round as well.
Right.
Then in 2015, we have the Norwegian Escape, which is coming out, which is going to be the biggest and largest and most grander ship that we've ever came out with Norwegian Cruise Line. It'll have the largest ropes course at sea, even bigger than what we have. It'll have 2 planks, not just one. Also, we have a partnership with Jimmy Buffett in Margaritaville and the 5 o'clock somewhere bar. And also, yesterday, we just announced in our Mandara Spa, we're actually going to have a snow room on board. So you can be in the Caribbean and also experience snow, too.
Oh, my God.
In the spa as well.
That's crazy. Wow, that's amazing. Well, you have all of the great destinations that they can pick from, and they can book this wave offer in January, travel leaders at any of our offices, and take advantage of this great program, which will not come back. So you're doing the standard destinations like the Caribbean, and you even do the Canada, New England. But the one you have that nobody else does is the Pride of America.
Correct. We are the only game in town in Hawaii to have a 7-day inter-island sailing. So it's a major advantage if you want to see all 4 islands in Hawaii with only unpacking once. Also, it's a great opportunity there just because you get 2 overnights in Maui and Kauai as well. So if you wanted to have dinner at Kimo's of Lahaina, you're more than welcome to with your overnight experience in Maui, or you can take a night bike ride in Kauai through the lush canyons and things like that. It's really a unique experience that you get with a cruise opportunity as well.
I've done it, and I have to tell you, my most memorable moment of doing the Pride of America Cruise of Hawaii was going by the Big Island as the volcano was erupting and dropping into the ocean at night, all lit up.
Definitely.
Unbelievable.
It's fantastic. I've actually experienced that myself, too, and it's really the only way you're going to experience that is on a Norwegian cruise, just because we turn all the lights off on board. You see the lava flow going into the water. It's really absolutely breathtaking. I completely 100% agree with you,
Well,
Sandra.
I love the product. I've done it, and the reason I would encourage everybody to think about doing it is exactly what you said. You get to see everything. You do not have to get on an inter-island plane and lose a day trying to get from one place to the next. You get on, you unpack. You have a ton of free time in all of the destinations. It's really such a unique product, and I absolutely love it. Yes, there are other cruise lines doing Hawaii, but it's 5 days over at sea and 5 days back. This is 7 days and a destination every day. So it's great. All right, let's talk about the other stuff you're doing. You have the best docking opportunity in Seattle. I just have to say, I don't love any other place to sail away from except where Norwegian Cruise Line docks, because you get on the ship and Pike Place is almost like next door.
Definitely, yeah. We actually are at Pier 66, which is the pier right next to Anthony's downtown as well. So as Sandra said, it's a 5-minute walk directly from Pike's Place, and you're actually in the heart of Seattle rather than when our other competitors are up in the north part of the city, kind of in the industrial area.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most picturesque sailaways that in the world, especially if Mount Rainier is out and the weather is great. So definitely a great opportunity in terms of our great ships and docking space with Alaska as well.
I agree, and you do a great job on Alaska, and I love where you leave from. Your ships, if people have gone into Seattle and just seen some of the ships parked, your ships are the ones that are always so colorful. They always have scenes painted on them in big, bright colors. All the other ships are like black and white. And yours are like kaleidoscope. So it's kind of,
absolutely.
It's fun.
And especially in the art world now, it's actually becoming quite the feat to paint one of our hulls as well. Just so, for example, Peter Max painted the hull for Norwegian Breakaway. Paul Lebo painted the hull for Norwegian Getaway. And then Guy Harvey, who is a world-renowned kind of marine painter, it painted the hull for the Norwegian Escape. So we do have kind of bright experiences like
it's
that.
Fun.
Every time you get back on a Norwegian ship, you're going to have music going on, and it's really just kind of a fun atmosphere.
Right. I mean, it's
just
a fun thing. And I have to say, Travel Leaders took a poll, and for the first time, Alaska was voted the #1 domestic destination. It kicked out Las Vegas, Orlando, Anaheim. So if people are out there and have not cruised to Alaska, this is an excellent time to plan your Alaska cruise. So let's go over the wave offer one more time so people know. And please call Travel Leaders before the end of the month, because you don't want, literally, and I hate saying this, you don't want to miss the boat. So you're going to get a great dining offer that lets you have specialty restaurants at no additional cost. You're going to get to book in January, and you're also going to get an onboard credit opportunity and a really great beverage package. These things are all things you would have spent money on when you got on board, and you're going to get them. We've talked about all of your destinations. We've talked about your onboard experience. I'm ready to go back to Travel Leaders and book this, I think. It's great. And I should mention, and I didn't, part of your Hawaii product, special golf programs on board, and I did that. So you bring your golf clubs. That's a big deal. You bring your golf clubs, and you've got a pro shop on board, and they help you arrange play in the islands.
Absolutely. I actually took advantage of this myself, and I'm a very avid golfer myself. I've actually golfed at Sahali and Pinehurst, like that, but played Kauai Lagoons from the Norwegian Cruise Line ship, the Norwegian Sun at the time, and was probably the most memorable golf experience of my entire life. It's very, very similar to golfing at a country club. You get transferred directly from the ship. Your clubs meet you there. They know your name when you get to the golf course.
Ooh, that's
and
nice.
you're also playing in Hawaii, which is extremely picturesque. So it's a very, very great opportunity as well.
For sure. Well, on that happy golf note, I just want to thank you, Chaz, for coming today. I'm sorry about my cold, everybody. Hopefully the next time you hear me, I won't sound like I'm in a tunnel. And and Happy New Year, and call Travel Leaders and book your Norwegian Cruise Line getaway before the end of the month so you get all these goodies.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And we hope to have whet your appetite for some traveling this year. So till next time, make sure you join us for another edition of Travel Leaders Tri-Cities right here on News Talk 870.